So today, class, we'll be learning about verbal and nonverbal communications. What that all entails is verbal communication is the use of words and ideas to express yourself, whereas nonverbal is the use of gestures and anything that doesn't involve words per se. So facial expressions, clothing, anything you can think of. Verbal communication and nonverbal communication are often used in tandem, but are distinct types of codes. Verbal communication is a digital code because it involves language, which represents through symbols. Nonverbal communication is an analog code because it involves representation through likeness or similarity. Verbal communication holds the advantages of greater efficiency, clarity, and intentionality.
Verbal communication and nonverbal communication are intimately related. We use each form to complement, reinforce, and add meaning to the other, yet verbal and nonverbal communication are distinct from one another. Let's talk about verbal communication first.
Verbal communication involves the use of language, a system of words represented by symbols. Symbols convey meaning and characterize ideas, people, places, and concepts.
Symbols are arbitrary.
Symbols are abstract.
Symbols are intentional.
Symbols are uniquely human.
Symbols are culturally bound.
Symbols are contextually bound.
We love symbols!
Verbal messages aid in creating and participating in social reality. Verbal communication gives us the ability to create the social world around us. Edward Sapir and Benjamin Whorf presented the linguistic relativity theory to describe this idea that language creates and shapes our social reality. Because communication can shape our social world, we need to use this thing called inclusive language, which means using expressions and words that are broad enough to include all types of people, so we don't exclude any particular groups. The second part of the definition of communication focuses on participating in our social reality. Communication is collaborative, so we need to create a shared understanding so that we can participate with others. Verbal communication allows us to participate by asserting, promoting, apologizing, requesting, and performing.
A woman by the name of Barbara O'Keefe developed a theory of message design logics, which explains why people produce different responses while under similar circumstances. The first message design logic, in which Barbara came up with, is a process where someone expresses exactly what they think or feel.
Just imagine this. You've been assigned a group project with someone who's been uncooperative. He shows up late and doesn't carry his weight to the group. This is an example of what someone might say using the expressive message design logic.
So what did you guys get for question number 3? Exactly?
I got C too.
Well, I got D. Maybe we should go over this problem a little more just to clarify it.
Hey Justin,
Hey, what's up?
did you bring your stuff for the project?
No.
Are you kidding?
No.
This is unbelievable. You showed up late, and now you haven't brought your stuff for the project. You're gonna give us all an F. Don't even bother coming next time, because there's no point.
Gwen Holman said, "The conventional design logic reflects a person's willingness to recognize the context of the current situation. Conventional messages are task relevant and include mention of goals and possible actions that will be taken to accomplish those goals. Many times, speakers use societal rules and norms to justify their future actions. Conventional messages might also contain politeness, such as please."
What did you guys get for question number 3?
I got C. I got B.
I got C too. Maybe we should look over and see if we got it correct.
Hey Justin,
Hey, what's up?
did you bring your stuff for the project?
No, I just didn't do it, so.
Justin, as the leader of this group, it's my job to keep everyone on track. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
At this point, you have had multiple chances to get your act together.
I know, it's just I had a late night last night, and so.
Okay, well, you need to get your stuff done by the next meeting, or this whole you're gonna let your team down, and I'm gonna have to tell the professor to give you a failing grade.
Okay.
The rhetorical design logic reflects a person's capability to align his or her own goals with the partner's seemingly incompatible goals. Rhetorically generated messages display a focus on cooperatively reached goals and belief in equifinality. Speakers generally need more communication to accomplish a rhetorical message, and so the rhetorical messages usually last longer. Here's an example of the rhetorical design logic.
What did you guys get for question number 3?
I got C.
I got B.
I got C as well, so we should go over this.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. Did you bring this stuff for the project?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't have the chance to do it last night, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you've been going through a lot. So how about we get together tonight and maybe I can help you finish it?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm not doing anything, so.
You can meet at the library.
Cool.
In conclusion, message design logic theory explains how goals are enacted as behavior in the model. People's abilities and awareness of goals influence how they talk. Talk is the resulting communication that provides need in fulfillment. Motives provide a drive for the talk to occur. Interpersonal communication motives offers one framework by which to study reasons people enter into communication situations.
Now let's talk about nonverbal communication. Why does it matter, you might ask? Well, nonverbal messages matter because they communicate our feelings and attitudes. It matters because nonverbal messages are more convincing than verbal messages. It matters because nonverbal communication is literally all the ways we communicate without using our words. Nonverbal communication can include our clothing, our physical appearance, our gestures and motions, our facial and eye expressions, and more.
Nonverbal communication has 6 different functions that work along with verbal communications. The 6 functions include repeating, which accents the verbal message. The second function includes accenting, which highlights the verbal message by emphasizing or enhancing a certain point. The third function is conflicting, which contradicts your verbal message. The fourth function is complementing, reinforces a verbal message. The fifth, regulating, manages the flow of a verbal conversation. And finally, the sixth, substituting, which can replace a verbal message.
The next thing that we're going to talk about is the codes of nonverbal communication. The first one is vocalics. Vocalics is a study of the use of voice to express self. Your voice conveys information about who you are as a person and who you are as a member of a group. We also use our voice to modify the meaning of what we're saying, like when we use sarcasm to convey the opposite of what we say in words. Vocalic cues include tone of voice, volume, articulation, pitch, rate of speech, and silence.
The next code of nonverbal communication is kinesics. Kinesics is the study of body movement, including both posture and gestures. Gestures are the movements that you make with your hands and your arms. Gestures have 5 different categories, which include emblems, illustrators, effect displays, regulators, and adapters. Emblems are specific communication and cultural context that substitute for words. Like flipping someone off in America, everyone's going to know what that means. It obviously means F you. Or like around the world, this gesture usually means come here. There are also illustrators, which are gestures that complement or enhance your verbal message. Like when you give direction to someone, you might point them where to go. The next one is effect displays, which are gestures, postures, and facial expressions that communicate emotion. Like if you're happy, you'll probably tell the people in the room that you're going into that you're happy just by your facial expression before you even tell them that you're happy. The next category is regulators, which are gestures used to control turn-taking in a conversation. And the last one is adapters, which are gestures used to release tensions. Adapters can usually clue that another person is uncomfortable in some way.
The next code that we'll be talking about is proxemics. Proxemics is a study of how people use space and distance to communicate. There's an intimate zone which is about 0 to 18 inches. This zone is usually for significant others, family, and closest friends. There's a personal zone of about 18 inches to 4 feet, the social zone 4 to 12 feet, and the public zone over 12 feet. Understanding spatial zones is important, and you always have to remember that sometimes you can violate, invade, or contaminate someone else's personal space.
The next code is environment. This refers to the surroundings that shape the communication context. You shape your environment to express your own feelings and beliefs to others. You can personalize elements of your environment to make yourself and the people around you feel more comfortable. Layman Aragia and good friend once said that the environment you create for yourself often speaks volumes about the relationships you consider most important.
Facial expressions is the use of face to communicate emotions and feelings. According to Gosselin, Gales, and Dorr, The face can be considered a gallery for our emotional displays. Your face is the you presented to others in everyday encounters. Scholar Irving Goffman wrote about this presentation of self in everyday life, explaining how face can be lost, maintained, protected, or enhanced. Some facial expressions that are understood globally are sadness, anger, disgust, fear, happiness, and surprise.
The next code of nonverbal communication is eye behavior. The eyes are said to be the window to the soul. According to Morris in 1985, approximately 80% of the information in our everyday surrounding is taken in visually. A significant part of the facial expressions involves the use of the eyes. Eye behavior influences the social, interactive process and also commands involvement.
The next code of nonverbal communication is haptics, which is the study of touch. Whether it's a handshake, a punch, a hug, or a kiss, touch has the potential to communicate a very powerful message. According to Montague in 1978, of the 5 human senses, touch develops first. Touch is influenced by relationship, situation, and culture. Fountain said in 2005 that in some countries it's normal for men to hold hands to indicate friendship. It varies all over the world with different cultures and countries whether it's appropriate to touch someone or to not touch someone in a certain situation.
The last code of nonverbal communication is physical appearance, which refers to the observable traits of the body and its accessories and extensions. The way you present yourself and your physical appearance reveals a lot about who you are, and the physical appearance of other people influences your perception of them. What accessories, extensions, or personal artifacts, if any, are important to your appearance?